zooming. Basically, that's what's happening. I'm freaking zooming. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games, board gamey things, and freaking riding bicycles. I don't know if you knew this, but I've been on a bicycle before. Yep, I'm not very good at it, but I have one, and a Peloton. That's an inside bike. Anyways, we are back again today with another pumped up Kickstarter. And today's pumped up Kickstarter preview is going to be on Spokes from Radical 8 Games, who very kindly sponsored today's video. Now, all of the information and everything that you need to know about Spokes is going to be in the description below. So links, dates, everything. You check it out, it's gonna be down there. Now, a few things to note. As per usual with my preview videos, I am going to give you a general overview of how the game works to help you figure out whether or not this is a good fit for you. And of course, it's a preview, it's a prototype, a little pretty much naked on the back, so we know that this is a prototype, so anything you see is of course subject to change. But without further ado, I say we dive into it, we drive into it, we roll into it. Let's do that. Spokes is a fast-paced cycling game for 1 to 6 players. Players create cycle paths by swapping spokes from their wheels for those on the board. As players create routes, their spokes and options change along with everyone's routes, resulting in fast and beautiful dynamic play. In Spokes, players will use each other's routes and slipstream their competitors to become the first player to complete 3 laps of the velodrome and prove they are the champion cyclists. But what does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at how the game plays. Like I've already mentioned, as per usual with my preview videos, this is just a general overview of how the game works, not an official how to play. I just want to give you a good idea of how the game works to help you decide if it's a good fit for you. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, on each player's turn, they're going to do 3 things in the following order. First, they will move their spoke marker 1, 2, or 3 spaces anti-clockwise around their wheel. And on a player's first turn, they're going to choose where the marker starts. So let's take a look here at the board. I'm currently set up for a 4-player game. Like I said, it does play 1, 2, 6. So we have France. We got France, we have the UK, we have Canada, baby, that's who I am, and we have Germany. Those are our 4 competitors that we have. I have already put out everybody's little cube, but on your first turn, you are going to take your little cube, your spoke marker, and you can place it anywhere within your spoke area. So I might want to place mine right here. Actually, nay, I might want to place mine right here. Everybody else is going to get to choose where they do that. Then you can move that marker 1, 2, or 3 spaces anti-clockwise around your wheel. So let's say I decide to move it 1. Then they will swap the last spoke they move their marker over for a differently colored one on the board, which they can then travel through. So I hopped and skipped and jumped my way right over this pink one. So I would get to take that and then decide which one I want to swap it with. So let's just say I'm going to take the dark blue and we're going to replace it just like that. We're going to do a swabbity swoo. Finally, they will travel a single contiguous route of 1 color only, which must include the spoke they just placed. That's very important. It has to include the one you just placed. They can only go over each spoke once. If they complete a lap, so you'll see the white line here is the starting line. 1 lap is 1 round around the board. So if they complete a lap, they move their lap marker 1 space. You'll see right now we're on lap 1. If we complete a lap, it'll be 2 and then 3. Then play is going to move on to the next player. So let's just do a full example here. So it's my turn, Team Canada. I am going to move my spoke 1 space because I really want this pink one. Now you don't have to place it on a spoke next to you. It can be anywhere on the board, but obviously make it opportune for your movement. And so I am actually going to place it right here, swapping it out with that white one, okay? So I moved 1 to 3 counterclockwise. So that is step 1. Step 2 was to swap. So we did that. And now we are going to travel a single contiguous route of one color. So I'm going to go whoop, 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 whee, whop. Look how far I went. Zooming, basically, that's what's happening. I'm freaking zooming. Okay, let's talk about overtaking and slipstreaming. Players can always travel through other players who are on their route. As you saw in my example, I zoomed right by the UK and France. So there's no blocking an overtaking player. Players cannot, however, finish their turn on the same space as another player. So if a player would end their turn on the same space as another player, instead they go back to the most recent empty space they traveled through, and then they'll flip their slipstream tile to the adrenaline burst side like this. Boom. Okay, we're gonna flip it right over. So let me just set up a little example. Let's just say, wow, Bessie, let's say we're a little bit further along. Oh, how did Canada get so far behind? And let's say that I wanted to do that, but I can't stop in the same space as France. Can't stop in the same space as Germany, so I'd have to go back here to this space that is open, flipping my tile once again to the adrenaline burst side. Or if it's already on that side, leave it. A player with a slipstream tile on the adrenaline burst side can flip it back over to the slipstream side, which is this side right here, on a future turn to include a single spoke of a different color in their route. That's pretty interesting. This could be at the beginning and or during the middle of the route. However, it cannot be the spoke they placed, okay? So just make sure that it's not the one that you placed. Let me just show you a little example of how that would work. So we've already shown you I had to boot scoot and boogie back here. I flipped my tile. Let's just say that this is a later turn and I'm thinking I might want to still do this blue. And so I could actually do this. Let's just say, let's say this is what I did. I moved, I am placing this blue right here. And I still want to ride through the blue. So I can go like this, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here, because I'm going to pretend that that pink is actually a blue. And then we're going to flip that back over. The game will end as soon as a player completes 3 laps and that player wins. So those are the rules. It's very, very straightforward. What you're really trying to do here is puzzle your way through all of these colors with what you have available to you, keeping in mind you can only jump up to 3 spaces and you need to be able to see what's around you to determine whether or not you can use those things, right? Then you're gonna go zoom all the way around. Zoom, 2, my God. Zoom, 3. Canada wins. Boop. You love to see it. Whoever crosses that finish line first is just gonna win. Now, you're probably wondering, who is this game for? This is for fans, obviously, of racing games and, like I've already mentioned, of puzzling. You need to be able to plan ahead to ensure you're able to build yourself a fast and useful route. The game is very easy to learn. I essentially just taught you the entire game with the exception of any of the variable player modes, but it's very easy to learn and to teach, which means this would be a great game to add to any game night list, meaning pretty much anybody can play this. It's also very competitive, but in a fun way where it can have you cheering as you overcome opponents and getting, shaking your fist at somebody if they suddenly went on the route that you wanted or they took the spoke that you wanted. Spokes also offers various play modes, including a solo variant, a team mode, and a 2-bike variant. So there's a ton of variability with the play. It's also super bright, eye-catching, and could even be a good game to get some of those non-gamer friends of yours into the hobby. I don't know about you, but I'm literally always looking for games that can do that. This is one of those games that I definitely think like Jeff's mom could play. That's always our kind of gauge in terms of how welcoming a game is. And I feel like this is a very welcoming game. Plus, people understand racing, people understand puzzles, and it's fun. People love to race. It's a good time. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, once again, all of the links and everything that you need to know are going to be in the description below. So definitely make sure you click those, follow along the campaign or back it. As always, watch some content, read some content, do all of that to make sure that this is a good fit for you. And I just also want to show off, look at this spokes bag. And if you're curious, like how do you put the spokes out? You put the spokes in this bag at the beginning, obviously making sure all players have their 6 different colors. There's 6 different color spokes. And then you just dump it on the board and spread it around. And these will just kind of like click themselves in. And so that's what's going to give you the variety. So you could literally start with like a bunch of yellow over here, like kind of like we did, and none over here. And it's going to give you a ton of variety every time just by the way that you set it up. I will also mention, let's take this off, each of these boards, so Canada on one side, and then we've got Japan on the other side. We have, depending on what player colors you want, but we have UK and then Germany. We do have, France. We have France and the USA, and then once again, Germany and the UK. So there's a bunch of different countries that you can be as well. But my friends, that is everything that I have for you today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games, like other board games from Radical 8 Games, which you might remember us covering one of theirs a while ago, and that is Die of the Dead, which is also a fantastic game, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that's the Boardroom Game Cafe. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. I hope to see you again soon. And now I say goodbye and happy bicycle riding. Don't fall over. Wear your helmets. Please. Sometimes I see people not wearing helmets and I think that's not a good idea. Please wear your helmets. Be safe.